Well, hello and welcome to the Grow Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Vicky Laffey, and I make these podcasts because I want to pass on my wealth of knowledge and experience that I've accumulated over the past 10 years of me being an entrepreneur, so that I can help you launch and grow your own small business. Please remember to click subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Grow Your Business podcast again. I'm your host, Vicky Laffey. Today we have another interview with someone with a really interesting story, someone who's also made this leap from employed to self-employed. I love hearing people's stories. I really do. This is, I made this leap myself 10 years ago, as you've heard me say before in previous episodes, and I just think it's such a brave and exciting and scary also time of people's lives, and I love hearing success stories, people who've made that switch, made that leap, and really made it in business. So we have the pleasure of talking to one of my clients today, actually one of my social media clients and website clients, Caroline Potts of Ellison Gray Bridal in Durham. So Caroline, thank you so much for joining us.
That's no problem at all.
So Caroline, as you can tell, Caroline is also a local girl like me, is one of my clients. Now Caroline has a really interesting story, which I'm going to get her to tell you in full detail. But Caroline essentially went from being working in the corporate world in banking at Barclays, and then I'll let her fill in the gaps, but now she runs, as I mentioned, Ellison Gray Bridal. So she's gone from, HR person at banks and software companies to being the owner of her own bridal boutique. So, Caroline, I would love for you to fill in the gaps for the audience. Can you tell us how that happened? How did you make that switch? And what made you decide to move into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think first and foremost, I've always been an amazing bridesmaid. So I've always loved just that perfection and bridal and just being involved in that. So that kind of sparked the bridal interest. And I always just kind of wanted to own my own business. I think the more I got into corporate life, so I'm 38, so I've worked quite a while after leaving uni in corporate life, got further up the ladder, the more I kind of realised that I like doing what I like doing and didn't really like what to do.
Marching to the beat of your own drum.
Yeah. And the higher I got, the bigger the egos got, if I'm completely honest. Really big egos. And I think a lot of people thought they were, I don't know, like as important as our NHS staff, and they're not. They were just working in, like a normal job, politics didn't sit well with me. I'm a very honest, open person, as you'll know, Vicky. Really straight down the line, and a lot of the time that doesn't fit in a lot of companies, if I'm honest.
I would agree. Yeah, I found that as well.
And just the more I got into it, the less I enjoyed it. I don't play games, and a lot of people play games. So, that's their thing, that's cool.
You do tell it like it is, I have to say, Caroline.
I do, which surprisingly not a lot of people like. But there you go. I'm genuine though, I don't do it to shock people or to hurt people. It comes from a genuine place of, wanting to make things right. And I think my jobs, is communications and engagement. That's what you're there for. I was there to make people want to come to work, enjoy being at work, and really feel that purpose. And I'd lost that in the jobs I was in. I didn't feel I had that purpose anymore. A very wise guy once said to me, you take a job as a cup, you fill it with as much as you can, and once you've filled it, you hand it on. That was really powerful for me, actually. And I realised that I could hand these jobs on, and it was fine. Nothing big was going to happen. So I talked about it probably for about 4 years of wanting to go into bridal. So one of my friends, I completely bored her to death over coffee with it about it, and I really couldn't see a way to do it, if I'm honest, which I think a lot of people who want to make the leap feel like. I had a really well-paid job, and at the time I was a single parent, so how on earth could I leave that job and not earn as much money, maybe not earn any money, this kind of thing. always hooking. There was always a reason not to. Fast forward a few years, I actually met someone, I got married, I got pregnant with my second little boy, Grayson. And again, very honest and straight, it wasn't a good marriage, it was a horrible marriage. And I actually left him because he wasn't a very nice man. And at that point, I'd actually taken redundancy from Barclays because I was going to have a baby. Well, I was going to stay at home for a bit with the baby. And actually, I kind of sat down after leaving him the day of lockdown, 23rd of March. I sat down and thought, all right, I haven't got a job, so let's do it. What's the worst that can happen?
I love that. I love that. And you were going to say that, actually. I just had an inkling. That's it. You just suddenly reach that point, don't you?
Well, yeah, because I thought, well, I haven't got a wage coming in at the minute. That wasn't the plan for our family. People let you down, so I was let down in that sense that the marriage didn't work out. But I just thought, well, let's give it a shot. I'm in lockdown. I may as well. So me and my dad sat at the bench because he works in the construction. We sat at the kitchen bench, and I was saying, right, I'm envisaging this. So he literally drew the boutique out of what I wanted. And then I just started searching for premises, search for a startup loan. So I got a startup loan from the government, which is a great thing to look into because they offer business advice as well, and kind of like some mentoring, which was really good. And just started Google how to do this, how to I was lucky in the sense that I had a comms and marketing background, but actually I didn't know how you started buying bridal dresses. I didn't know which designers I wanted, I hadn't got that far. So it was just going for it, and taking that leap and thinking, okay, let's see what happens.
This is it. It's I think that's a great way to think about it. When you excuse me, you've got that this point that you reach, where you're on this precipice. You've got do I go for it? Do I not? You've got this itch inside of you, right? You're like, it's like a fire. You know you want to do something. Some people, it can go either way. Some people can choose to keep plodding on with the office politics and the daily grind, or you just suddenly go bang, right? Why not? What's the worst that could happen? And I'm so pleased you did. You went that way. Good for you. So in terms of transferable skills, maybe I think that would be an interesting thing to talk about. I know I found that a lot of skills I built up at the bank, whether it be just talking to different business areas or using Microsoft Excel or anything in between, I had things that really helped me. But did you find that as well?
Yeah, definitely. So I think just there on the Excel thing, I think planning was a really key thing. I am a bit OCD, perfectionist, so planning, creating your timelines, knowing where you're going, get your end game and then work back. I think a lot of people don't do that, and it's clear to me because I'm quite black and white, so that's how my brain works. A lot of people don't. So where do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? And then then make your plan. So that was good. Numbers, I'm quite good with numbers, which I think is important. So really planning out, budgeting how I was going to do up the boutique, how I was going to pay X amount of rent, just breaking it all down so I could really understand where I was going to be and what I needed, which obviously you have to do part of your business planning. So that was important. I think because of my background in marketing, comms, etc., the branding came easy to me, and being able to visualize that came easily. So the boutique's named after my two sons, Ellis and Grace, and it's a combination of their names. Straight away, I had a purpose that hangs above the door, and that's every time I walk in that door, it's for my boys. So that came easy of what I wanted it to look like, what I want to feel, what I was about. Which again maybe doesn't come easy to somebody who maybe hasn't got that background of creating that picture or that kind of vision. And I think networking as well, just having the confidence to talk to people and having the confidence to say, do you know, I don't know what I'm doing, or can you answer that? I'm going to ask a stupid question, things like that. Just putting yourself out there and asking, because there's a lot of people just blagging it. So, you know, join it. Give it a shot.
I think you know there absolutely is. Nobody has all the answers in life.
No.
I think a lot of people wait until you know, when they're making this switch, they sort of wait until they have everything in place, have all their ducks in a row, as it were, and that'll never happen. You know, no. I've been in business 10 years, and that rarely happens. You know, so yeah, just be brave, make that leap. I think a lot of the things that keep people back is this thing of, you know, they'll be sitting there going, well, I have no clue how to run a business. Like, what do I know about such and such, you know, whatever it is that they do. But like you said, that there's so many transferable skills that will stand you in good stead. Everything, you know, that things that you learned in your job that you wouldn't maybe even realize that apply to running a business as well will stand you in really good stead and help you be successful in your business. So it sounds like you've really got a lot of you know, tools in your kit, as it were, to help you with that. And nobody is ever good at everything. You know, this is why, you know, you come to people like, you know, me for the social media. You know, that's how you ended up being one of my clients. There's all sorts of things that people, you know, nobody can tick all of the boxes. Yeah, and I think it takes bravery and a bit of humility to sort of say, look, I don't know about this. Can you teach me? Or, you know, seek some sort of training from either people like myself or the government mentors that you mentioned, or you know, or a college course or something.
Yeah.
So I'd love to sort of chat a little bit about the emotions that surrounded you when you were making this switch. You know, when you were in the middle of making this switch. You know, you've talked that it took you like 4 years of thinking about it to sort of decide and reach this point. But as most people I'm finding, most people I speak to, they reach some sort of point where it's like a life event. You know, something, a lot of the time it's an external sort of event, something that happens to you, and there's something that like switches in your mind and you say, right, this is it, I'm doing it. You know, so what, I mean, there was obviously a lot going on for you at the time. Like what sort of emotions were surrounding you about that time? How were you feeling?
Very strange. So well, obviously we went into lockdown, so that was a bit weird. We knew that was coming. If I'm totally honest, I probably didn't think it through that much. I think at that point when I'd left my marriage, you know, I had to leave my home and all that, it was quite what's the word, significant, magnificent. Quite, you know, with my kids. So I think for the first time I wasn't overthinking, you know, I just kind of thought, do you know what, I need to do something. I'm a doer. But you'll know I'm impatient. Like, why am I not selling 10 million dresses a day, or blah, 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 why am I not, you know, I always want more and to achieve more. So I think it was just like, right, oh my God, that's gone disastrously wrong. I don't have a job, right, let's just do it. So it's kind of like, just get on with it. And it was, you know, being locked down, we only had an hour's exercise a day. So, you know, I would go out with the kids for the walk, come back while they're playing or having their dinner or whatever, just doing bits. And it kind of kept me busy and focused on something. So it was a happy distraction, a positive distraction. And then it became, do you know what, this is going to succeed. This is going to happen, because I'm not going back. And I don't want to, so Grayson was only 8 months at the time. I don't want to put him in nursery full time, because I suppose, again, being very honest, when Ellis was little, he went to nursery 8 months. He was there 4 days. I did have a day off, but I worked a lot. I travelled abroad. I would be in America for a week doing events and back and forth, and I worked late, which you do when you're building your career. But then when you hit the ripe old age of 38 and reflect, and you think, I missed a lot of time. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to spend all my time with my kids, because they're kids and they're hard work. But like, I did miss it, and he's suddenly going to senior school. So I've got this little one, I kind of thought, well, I need to make it work. I don't want to go back into a corporate job at that level and be how it was, because I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't want to get up and go to work every day. It was a struggle.
I think that in itself is it's draining, isn't it? It's absolutely draining, and it only gets worse from there.
Yeah.
And whilst, and you'll have discovered this being in business for over a year now, although it's very hard work,
yeah,
it never feels as hard as when you were at your job.
Nope.
Probably
never.
Being paid better at that job and having regular hours, I guess, but yeah, you don't have that, the Sunday night dread, the Monday morning blues, the just general having the life sucked out of you thing because it's not for you. Yeah, absolutely.
I never get Sunday blues now.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably because we don't have regular hours, but also you are doing something that you love, something that sets you on fire, and something that's a passion, as opposed to a job that you got into.
Yeah, exactly.
This is it. So you've been running the business for a year now. You unfortunately started during a pandemic, which was bad timing, I guess. But what I love about entrepreneurs is that things like this don't keep them back. In fact, it makes them keep going, or it makes them pivot or switch, or it's. I just love it. It would put a lot of people off, I think. But a true entrepreneur, it's more than just a business owner. It's when you're an entrepreneur, it's something that sets you on fire. It's something that keeps you going. It's you just sort of think, what, right, okay, this has come my way. What am I going to do differently? Or how can I do this? How can I change this? How can I pivot? Maybe I can add another service, or maybe I can take this online, like a lot of businesses did during the pandemic. I just love that we're able to like think on the ball and and just pivot like that. I just love it, and I love that you kept going, and I'm really glad you did, because then I wouldn't have gotten to know you if you didn't.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you've been running this for a year now, so it's been a strange time for you to start a business. You haven't been able to have people in the boutique, have you?
Well, we shut. So I opened in September. I think we went down into lockdown in November, and then we opened up for a bit, and then went back in December, and then opened in April. So when I was shut, I had to close the doors. For me, my brand and who I am in my boutique is all about the experience of me. Not of meeting me, of coming to Alison Gray. I serve
meeting you. People buy from you as well. Okay.
Yeah, it's just me. So going online for me wasn't something I wanted to do. And the virtual appointments didn't really set me alight. So I shut the doors, but I made a conscious effort to make sure I was on social, trying to grow my numbers as best I could. And just, doing everything behind the scenes that I could. Getting ready for reopening, keep like reassessing your business, which I think is really important. Every time you get a bit of downtime, as we call it, look at your business. What can I do? What can I improve? Little things like I've just, I found a great lady who does bespoke candles. So I thought, what? I love my brides. Let's just add something else to their luxury gift bag that I gave them. So, we got that all sorted. So we have these beautiful branded bespoke candles that now go in the gift bags, because it's just about how can we do more, how can we up the game and improve. But I think one thing that's really important is, like you said, you can't be everything to everyone. You can't do everything. So I knew in the back of my mind for a long time, I opened in September, probably from mid-September, I knew that social media just, I didn't really like it. I didn't really want to do it. It scared me a bit. And for a long time, I kept saying, I need to find someone. And I did speak to some agencies that were a bit of a letdown. They didn't really respond to me, because I was a small business. I obviously wasn't going to pay them 50 grand, you know, a month, whatever, it's like some corporate companies do. But and I just knew I had to get somebody in to help me. Obviously that's where you came in, Vicky. But again, I wouldn't have known you had I not been on, you know, the Unveiled Network and talking to different people within the industry and being open with these people. You know, just kind of saying, oh, I'm struggling a bit, and they said, you know what, I've got someone who can help you.
Yeah.
And most people are nice, and most people are kind, and they'll give you a bit of advice and a bit of direction. So I think it's important to know where you need a bit of help as well, you know.
Massively, yeah. You can't be everything to everyone, and I think if you create a business for yourself where you are doing everything, where you are just spending 24 hours a day, if you're not eating or sleeping, you are doing some sort of job. You're scheduling your social media, or you're just I don't know, making some orders, or you know, trying to do the books, or you know, then what you've done is you've created another job for yourself. You actually haven't created a business, you've created a job which actually pays less and is longer hours than your previous one. So you know, you absolutely need to know when to delete and delegate, you know, off your list. You know, there's things you can do, there's things you can take off your list and delete them off, and there's things you can delegate to other people. And, you know, things like, you know, the social media, for example, you delegated that to me. You employ me to do that. That leaves you then in a space where you can be the bridal boutique owner. You can be thinking, instead of, oh, you know, what am I going to post on social media today? Or, oh no, I haven't posted in a week, let's just post any old thing up, you know. Then you are in the headspace of a bridal boutique owner. You are thinking, right, okay, what beautiful candles can I add to my gift bags? You're thinking, right, okay, what we're going to do for next year's collection? What's the latest bridal fashions? And, you know, things that you should be thinking about rather than the daily grind stuff that A, you're not entirely sure on anyway, but B, you are, you know, it's not the best use of your time, really. So yeah, I love that. So yeah, so it's a really inspiring story. I love hearing people's stories. You know, I love the sort of change that people go from. You know, you are like banking corporate girl to bridal boutique owner. You know, they're two very different worlds. You know, it's a bit like me going from IT to floristry when I made the switch myself. You know, people often ask, how the heck did you decide? You know, where did that come from? How did you get there? So yeah, I really love hearing people's stories, and I also love how, you know, you've gone through kind of this, well, it's a bit of a rubbish time for yourself in a personal sense, right? But you've come out of it in the best possible way. And you know, when your boys grow up, one of them probably seems pretty grown up now if he's after seeing but you know, when they grow up into adults, they'll look back and they'll have grown up with this inspiration from you, and they'll know how hard you've worked, and they'll have appreciated being around you as well. Because I mean, you often speak of kind of, you know, if your son is ill, you know, if Grayson is ill, for example, you can take time off to sort of deal with him and be with him, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, in corporate life, you know, you get that as well. You know, I don't know, there's many companies that would openly say you can't, you know, go to your kids if they're poorly. But yeah, it gives me that flexibility. You know, I can work things around. So, you know, if one of the boys has a swimming gala, for example, my eldest is a swimmer. If he has a swimming gala on a certain day, then I can make sure I don't take any appointments on that day. You know, you just work it around. I mean, I've been very lucky. I have a really supportive family as well. My mum and dad are fantastic. You know, their Saturdays now are children. They have the boys that work on a Saturday now. But you know, that I try and take a Saturday off every so often so they can have their Saturday going out or whatever. But yeah, the flexibility and just the lovely feeling of having your own business is worth it. You know, that not having any dread, not answering to anyone. Although I think a lot of people who are self-employed, they are their own biggest critic anyway.
Massively.
Yeah, but just not having that feeling, because I felt trapped because I was earning such a good wage. I couldn't see a way out of it. How could my lifestyle be the same, or how could I change my lifestyle, or how could I do this and that? And I do believe that opportunities get put in front of you. You know, the universe gives you some nudges sometimes. There might be random weird nudges, but they do. And you know, I was, although that situation was horrible that I came out of, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone, in a horrible way, it means I've set up my business, because I know I never would have just handed my notice in on a big job and gone, oh well, do you know what, let's just see if I can feed the kids. And
I mean, that was a heck of a nudge that the universe gave you, but
it was. I mean,
you wouldn't have done it otherwise.
But I got my, I had my gorgeous little boy out of it, which, you know, again, the name Ellison Gray.
Yeah.
With him, the Gray wouldn't have come in, and I always had that name in my head. You know, as soon as I was pregnant, we knew that he was going to be Grayson, and then Ellison Gray was born in my mind. So I could always see that name, and that's planting the seed, and you work and you work with that in your brain because it's there. So
absolutely, I love it. So quickly before we sort of cut off here, have you got any advice, if you could give one tip to anyone who's just starting to run a small business, what would it be? Put you on the spot there.
Oh God, I don't know, really. I don't know. I think just go for it. Believe in yourself. My background and how I did it was make sure you've got your purpose and what you stand for. Be really clear on that. And yeah, you can take advice from people, but just believe in yourself and believe in where you're going and what you want to achieve. And that'll keep you clear, and that'll help you, really, really help you with your decision making.
I think so, yeah. Sorry, go on, I've interrupted you.
No, I'm just saying, I think that's, you know, if you've got your purpose and what you want to be known for, what you want to be famous for, then that helps you make informed decisions on, you know, what collection you're going to buy, or what designers you're going to have, what experience you're going to give people. All that kind of stuff comes from knowing what you want to be known for.
Absolutely. That's a very, very important point, I think. And it's, if you are in business, if you're starting a business like just to make some money, you know, I always say you can, I mean, of course, money's a hugely important point, and you know, it's how we live and afford the lifestyle we deserve. But if that's all you're doing it for, if you're just doing it to make a quick buck, then that's not your why. It's not your reason. It's you've got to have something like you say, you know, your reason for getting up in the morning, the reason to know why you help people, why how you're helping your ideal clients, and why you're doing what you do, basically. So yeah, this is a hugely important point, and I'm glad you made that. So yeah, Caroline, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on and telling us your story. All the best for your bridal boutique. This will be your first proper summer, and really, really hope, in fact I know everything will go great for you. I hope it's as successful as it can be, and that it's the start of many for you. So thank you so much for coming on. Well, thank you so much for listening all the way through the podcast. I hope you found that really useful, and I hope you've got some actionable tips and knowledge to implement in your own small business. Please remember to click subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. And also you can catch up with me on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn.